program, and you're welcome. I'm so excited to have you join us in our program for today. I have a topic for discussion this morning, and that is intimacy in marriage. Intimacy in marriage. And our objective will be to know the meaning of intimacy, to also know the different types of intimacy in our marriages, and also to know the killers of intimacy in our homes, in our marriages. And that's the main objective for today, to know the killers of intimacy in our marriages. And finally, we're going to see how to rekindle intimacy in our homes. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. Ensure you watch the whole of today's program. I assure you, your marriage can't be the same after today's program. Intimacy in marriage. So I go ahead now to the first objective for today. What is intimacy in our home? Whenever you hear the word intimacy, I'm sure a word should come to your mind. Yes, a word should come to your mind. Now, what's that word? That word is bonding. Bonding. The word bonding. You are infused. I want you to look at my hands this morning. You are infused. That is two persons becoming one. That is bonding. You are almost inseparable. They cannot separate you. This is the man, this is the woman. You are infused together. It can be so easy to separate you. No, it's going to be so difficult to divide both of you. Nobody can come in between you easily. You are so fused together. That is what intimacy is all about. So I don't know how your home is right now. Are you infused? Are you two separate entities becoming one flesh? That's the whole aim of today's topic. Two becoming one in all totality. It's so important. It means to be close. To be so close with your spouse. To be so familiar. It means to be affectionate. To be affectionate. To be loving. Having a loving personal relationship with your spouse. That's intimacy. To come to that point where you are truly bonded, where you are fully infused as one entity. That's the whole idea of intimacy. It means to be comfortable. To be comfortable, to be familiar, to be warm. That warm relationship with your spouse. Intimacy is a deeper level of communication. It's a deeper level of communication that is exclusive to couples. A deeper level of communication, and effective communication is so vital for the success of every home. Effective communication is so important for your home to succeed. And what is communication? Communication is simply relating. You are relating with each other. You are discussing. You are passing across information. You are passing across information, both verbal and non-verbal information. That is communication. And I want you to know that communication is the engine of every relationship. I want you to picture a beautiful car. Just imagine a beautiful car. Probably an SUV, any kind of car, but a pouch, beautiful car. Imagine that kind of car without an engine. That car is useless. Imagine having a car without an engine. The car is totally useless because the car cannot move without an engine. That is how marriage, or that's how a marriage is, without communication. So without an effective communication in your home, your marriage is like a beautiful car without an engine. It's gradually disappearing. It's useless. Without an engine, your marriage will not work. Okay, also imagine or picture a car, a beautiful car that has an engine, but the engine lacks oil. The car will also grind to a halt. The car will also grind to a halt. So you need communication as the engine of your vehicle. You also need intimacy, which is the oil that lubricates the engine. So if you have communication in your marriage, it's beautiful. That's the engine that powers your relationship. While intimacy is the oil that lubricates your relationship. So you need both of them. Effective communication, and you also need intimacy, which is a deeper level of communication. Quickly, let's see the types of intimacy that is present in homes or marriages. The first is emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy. This is the sharing of feelings, sharing of thoughts, sharing of desires. You are sharing feelings. The thoughts, you are on the same page when it comes to feelings. You are on the same page when it comes to desire. This is understanding of your feelings, understanding each other's feeling. You are understanding each other's feelings even without saying a word. There are some couples who are so bonded. When you see them, you know these ones, they are true, they have truly become one. When they give eye contact, they may be outside. They give eye contact, they understand what they mean. They are outside probably in a function, and you looking at them, you may not understand what they are saying, but both of them understand the eye contact, or they understand their body movement, even without saying anything. They understand each other. That's two couples who have truly become one flesh. So at times you understand the body language of your spouse to the point that even without saying a word, you understand what your spouse is saying. You understand when your spouse is sad. You understand when your spouse is angry, when they are tired, when they are worried, when they are thinking of something, they are weighed down, they are depressed, they are weighed down with thoughts. You just understand. You come here, you just looking at your the face of your partner. You ask, what's wrong with you? What are you thinking about? Why are you depressed? Because you have truly bonded with that spouse to the point of knowing that there's something not right with your partner. Is that how your marriage is? I'm asking you watching right now. Is that how your marriage is? If it hasn't gotten to that point where you are on the same page in feelings, where you can understand your spouse even without saying a word, then you need to set up the game of intimacy. And I want you to know that intimacy is an important process in building a successful marriage. It's an important process. Without intimacy, your marriage can't be successful. It's so important. At times, what we are saying is only 7% of what you are actually saying. It's only 7%. You have all the body languages, the body gestures, the eye contact and eye movement. Those ones speak volumes. They also speak volumes. So you need to understand your spouse. And understanding is so important. Understanding your spouse is so important, because even though God literally handed over that man to you as a woman, or God handed over that woman to you as a man watching me right now, you still need to do your job by understanding that person. Even though God came down by himself and presented that man to you, if you don't settle down to understand that spouse, you will still have issues in your home. I'm telling you. You will still have issues in your home. So you need to understand your spouse. You need to understand what makes them angry. Understand their likes and dislikes. Understand each other. Understanding is so important. So that is the first emotional intimacy, the first type of intimacy, emotional intimacy. We are now moving over to the second kind of intimacy, or the second type of intimacy, which is physical intimacy. Physical intimacy. Here you're talking about sexual connection. Sexual connection. You're talking about touch. You're talking about physical touch. You're talking about affection. You're talking about affection between your spouse. Affection that exists between husband and wife. Here we're talking about quality romance. Quality romance in your home, and this is so important. Sexual connection is so important. Sexual intimacy between husband and wife is so important. Any home where you have sexual intimacy, any home where you have sexual connection between husband and wife, there's reduced conflict. Yes, there is reduced conflict. Whereby couples are starved of sex, the conflict that exists is heightened. The conflict that exists in a sex-starved marriage is heightened. I want you to know that sex is a bond. Sex is a glue that bonds husband or glues husband and wife together. It's that glue that bonds you together. It's so important. Please, as a woman, let nothing make you starve your husband. I am begging you. As a man, please, there should be no reason. There should be no reason. There should be no reason to make you starve your wife. I want you to know that the Bible says your body does not belong to you as a man. Your body also does not belong to you as a woman. We can't overemphasize the place of sex. The importance of sex in marriage, it cannot be overemphasized. The importance of sex in marriage is so important, is so vital. There are some homes whereby couples will beg each other. There are some homes whereby the woman will be begging the man for sex. That's so wrong. It ought not to be so. It ought not to be so. There are some homes where the man will come back and just like, I'm tired, and is acting busy. He's totally neglecting the emotional needs, the emotional need of his wife, and that can be so bad. It can be emotionally draining. It can be emotionally draining. A woman met me of recent, and she was in pain. This woman came for counseling, and she was telling me the ordeal that's happening or is going on in her house. And she said in her marriage, she is the one literally begging the man. And as I was just trying to relate. I was trying to connect with her story. She said she would be the one begging the man. She would touch the man. She would do everything, try to dress nice, try to prepare meals, but the man will just totally ignore or neglect her. The man will totally ignore or neglect her, and that has gotten her heartbroken. She's totally heartbroken. I encouraged her and I told her, I will reach out to your husband. I will reach out to your husband, because there are some things you are doing that is hurting your wife. If you're a man listening to me right now, please, you cannot ignore the emotional needs of your wife. You cannot. Please, nobody should starve each other. That's my point. If you're a man, your wife should not be begging you. Your husband also should not be begging you if you're a woman. Please defraud him not the other. That's how the Bible puts it. Physical intimacy, it's a main deal when it comes to intimacy. Physical intimacy, it's really important, whereby you have sexual connection, physical touches and affection between husband and wife. It will reduce the conflict in your home. Yes, it will reduce the conflict in your home, and the more intimate couples are, the easier it is for them to survive and thrive. The more intimate you are, the easier it is for your relationship, for your marriage to survive. It's easier for your marriage to thrive when you are intimate with each other. The next type of intimacy is spiritual intimacy. Spiritual intimacy, and this is having the same understanding on spiritual matters. Where you have the same understanding on spiritual matters, you are thinking alike. You are on the same page when it comes to spiritual matters. You develop the right spiritual chemistry. As husband and as wife, you have the same spiritual chemistry. You share the same value. You share the same value. You share the same belief. You share the same spiritual practices. It's so important. If husband and wife are not on the same page spiritually, there will be conflict in their homes. I'm telling you, there will be conflict in their homes. If you're single listening to me right now, please don't make the mistake. Please don't make this mistake of going ahead to marry someone that you don't have the same, you don't share the same values. Please, I'm begging you. It could be a big mistake later on in your marriage. You have to be on the same page. You have to believe the same thing. I'm telling you, if you don't believe the same thing, there will be conflict later on in your marriage. If you are a man who does not believe in covering of hair, and you're a woman who believes in covering her hair, then there's a problem from the beginning. There's a problem from the beginning. There are some principles There are some principles that you have to be on the same page, otherwise there will be serious issues later on in your marriage. So please share the same value, believe the same thing as husband and wife, attend the same church if possible. It helps you bond properly. Attend the same church. Allow your children attend the same church with you. It enables you bond effectively. Not when you are a woman, you attend church A, and you as a man attend church B, and your children attend church C. Imagine that kind of family. Imagine that kind of family. There can be bonding, there can be proper bonding. You come back from service and you are speaking different language. But when you are under the same altar, you are hearing and feeding from the same source, it will help you grow spiritually. It will help your spiritual life a great deal. Next is social intimacy. Social intimacy, this is enjoying each other's company. You are enjoying each other's company. This is the main purpose of marriage, and that's companionship. This is the main reason why God instituted marriage. He said it is not good for a man to be alone. That should be Genesis 2. Genesis 2 also. It is not good for a man to be alone. I will make him an helpmate. It's not good for a man to be alone. I will make him an helpmate. I will make him an helpmate. That's talking about companionship. If God says loneliness is bad, please, you have to guard against loneliness in your marriage. As we speak right now, I want to put it to you that there are so many couples who are married, but unfortunately, they are still lonely. Unfortunately, many people are married but still lonely. Many people are married but they are still single. They are still single. They are just in the home like two roommates. They are still living life as two separate individuals, and that's so bad. That's so bad. You have to be together. You have to be bonded. You have to enjoy each other's company. That's social intimacy. If you hate to be together, then there's a problem. If you hate to be together in the company of your spouse, then there is a problem. Your marriage is sick. Your marriage is sick. If you are listening to me right now and you cannot sit down together as husband and wife, you cannot sit down as husband and wife. You cannot be on the same place. You cannot be in the same place, you are not on the same page. Then there is a serious problem. Even though you are together, or even when you are together and you cannot get along, there's also a serious problem. Like whenever you sit down to discuss or to communicate or to have conversations, there's always conflict. Then there's a problem in your marriage. I'm telling you, there is a serious problem in your marriage. Whenever you sit down to discuss on any issue, it always ends in disagreement. It always ends in conflict. It always ends in misunderstanding. Then there is a problem. There is a problem in your home. So you need to sit down and consciously work on intimacy in your home. There's also intellectual intimacy. This is where you share ideas. You share ideas together. Nobody is a monopoly of ideas when it comes to marriage. There's something important your wife will tell you that will move your marriage forward. At times, some men, they're so stubborn. They're like, what can a woman say? What does she have to say? No. In intellectual intimacy, you don't underestimate the idea of any party. I'm telling you, there's something a man will tell you as a wife or as a woman that will just move your marriage to the next level. So here in intellectual intimacy, you share ideas together. You share interests together. You share hobbies together. You share hobbies together. At times, in some home, you see a man. The man loves football, but the wife does not have the interest of football at all. But over time, you see this woman build interest. She just develop interest in football, and she begins to even talk more on football, even more than the man. It happens in so many homes. In my home, for example, my husband loves watching wrestling. Initially, I hated wrestling. I don't like watching wrestling for no reason. Like, what's this? Why are they beating each other? What's this trick? I see it like, what's there? I never liked watching wrestling. And my husband, he's a big fan. He's a big fan of wrestling. And so over time, I found myself knowing all the names. I can literally tell you all the names of all the wrestlers. I can tell you all the names, tell you all the events, the big events that takes place or that happens in wrestling. Over time, you begin to share same interests, begin to share ideas, share interests, share hobbies together. And it's so important in bonding. You also have experiential intimacy. Experiential intimacy, where you are sharing experiences. You are sharing past experiences, your childhood experiences. You are sharing them together as husband and wife. All these will bond both of you together. You share adventures. You share memories. You share memories, growing up memories. It's so important. If you as a husband, you cannot sit down with your wife and discuss. You cannot sit down with your wife and share memories, share stories, tell stories together, watch movies together. Then there is a problem. There's a serious problem in your home. It needs to be worked on. You need to work on that home. Experiential intimacy in your home, where you share experiences, adventures, and memories. All these are types of intimacy in marriages. We'll go ahead now to discuss about the killers of intimacy. What are those things that will make couples not to be bonded effectively? What are those things that will make couples be under the same roof but they are not together? What are those killers that will be present in your home and will just separate both of you? We'll go right ahead. I have quite a number of them, but we'll rush through, so we will go through every one or all the points. The first killer of intimacy, and I want you to know that many couples were friends before marriage. Yes, there's nobody who married and from the beginning or from the onset became enemies. No, before marriage, during courtship, couples were bonded together. They were so intimate, they could talk for hours. Like, there's no way you will stay a day without hearing the voice of the one you claim to love or you profess to love. No, you will talk for hours. At the onset or the early stage of marriage, they were in love. They were quite close. However, after saying I do, after dancing, after all the partying, before you know what's happening, things begin to fall apart. I'm sure you know the novel by Chinua Achebe. Things fall apart. The center can no longer hold. And you're wondering what is happening. What is happening? This couples that were so bonded, that were so in love, that were so close, what's happening in their home? So we'll just look at some of the killers. And now, after saying I do, and things begin to fall apart, they are now like roommates. They are now like co-tenants. Have you seen couples like that? Being roommates is even good. Like, you still have some communication going on. If you're roommates, you still have hello, hi, good morning. You still have some level of communication going on. They are like co-tenants. They are so official in their homes. Good morning, good morning. Like, you even have separate rooms. You have your own key. If you're a man, you have your own key. As a woman, you have your own key. That's official marriage. There's nothing bonding both of you together. There's nothing bringing you together. There's a problem. Even some are not even roommates. Some are not even co-tenants. Some are total strangers under the same roof. It's so serious. Some are total strangers. Some are rivals. Some are bitter opponents under the same roof. What went wrong? What went wrong? The first killer of intimacy in marriage is fear of rejection. Fear of rejection. You just have this feeling within you, like, if I open up to my spouse, will he not criticize me? If you're a woman, you are just holding back some information. You just feel, if I open up too much to this man, won't he criticize me? Won't he reject me? That's the fear of rejection. And at times couples begin to hold back certain information. They begin to hold back certain information because of the fear of rejection. It's also fear of loss of respect. Fear of loss of respect. Like, if you know me fully, if you fully understand who I am, if you know my weaknesses, will you still respect me? It's a question. If you know my weaknesses, if I open up to you and like, I'm not good in this area, I'm not good in that area, will you want to work on those weaknesses and make me a better person, or you tend to criticize me? There are some couples who will criticize their partner. They criticize each other. That's so bad. You know the weaknesses of your spouse and you use it against them. So at times, people want to hold back, couples want to hold back, or a partner want to hold back certain information, want to hide or cover up some areas about them because they are afraid. They don't know if you will still respect them. They don't know if you will criticize or reject them. So please, if you know the weaknesses of your spouse, that's to make you work on those weaknesses. Marriage is a union where you are strong, I am weak. Where you are weak, I am strong. That is what marriage should be all about. The third is lack of proper communication skills. There are some persons who don't know how to communicate their feelings accurately. They don't know how to communicate. There's a skill that's required in effective communication. There is a skill required for effective communication. There are some persons who don't know how to communicate, who don't know how to open up, who don't know how to communicate their feelings. And in communication, there's a what to say. In communication, there's a what to say, there's a how to say it, and there's a when to say it. So when you don't know when, and you say certain things at the wrong time, it just brings anger. It breeds anger, it breeds conflict. It breeds conflict, it breeds anger, it breeds resentment, and that intimacy is broken. That intimacy is broken. So if you're a woman, the Bible says a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words. You don't get that? Grievous words stirs up anger. So you have to know when to say certain things to your spouse. If you're a woman, know when to say certain things to your husband. Know how to put it. Go and learn how to communicate. Know how to put the words. Know when and know how. It's so important. At times you see couples, they say they communicate, they talk, but only few discuss. Many couples talk, but only few discuss. In talking, words are said, but things are not revealed. When you're talking with your spouse, you are saying certain things, but the real meaning, things are not revealed. You just say things like monosyllable words. You say yes, yes, like you were saying one. How are you? Fine. How are you? I'm fine. Where are you going to? I'm coming. You just say you are talking, but things are not revealed. In discussing, things are revealed. There's a big difference between talking and discussing with your spouse. When you're talking, communication is not deep. It is not open. It is not total. You are using monosyllable words. You're saying things, you're just cutting it, you're not going deep, you're not being open. In communication, you have to be open for your spouse to truly know who you are, for your spouse to truly connect with you. To truly connect with you, it's so important. The other killer of intimacy in many homes is the should know syndrome. Should know syndrome. We expect our spouse to know certain things about us. You just expect he should know. If he truly loves me, then he should know. He should know I need this. He should know I need this. Or he should know I need that. He should know I need this gift. He should know I need help. You just assume. You are walking in assumption. If you don't open up to communicate effectively, your spouse may never know the things you need. Yes, may never know the things you need. I listened to a woman and she was saying she was just expecting a birthday gift. That's during her birthday. So she was just the more like, what do you need? She said, anything. What do you need? Anything. So in her mind, she felt the man should have an idea of what she likes or what she loves over time, over the years. He should have known I love this. But unfortunately, the man came with just flowers. You said anything, and the woman hissed, flung the flower. Like, what is flower? Would they eat flower? would they eat flower? And you are the one who said anything. At times we walk in assumption as couples, and it's so bad. You just assume he should know if he truly loves me. No, your husband is not a mind reader. Your wife is also not a mind reader. They don't know what's happening in your space. They may not know. They may not know what's happening in your space. So when you are asked a question, what do you want? Please open up and say, I want this. I want shoes. I want bags. She was expecting shoes and bags to match. But the man came with flowers because you said anything. So please, if you're a woman, open up. Tell the man exactly how you feel. Should know syndrome is a killer of intimacy. The man should know I need to sleep. The man should know I need help in the kitchen. Please ask for help. If you need him to help you in the kitchen, open up and tell him, honey, please, could you help me in the kitchen? It's so important because he may not know. He may just be there, up there in the room or in the sitting room and waiting for food. And you are there just thinking, he should know I need his assistance. No, please learn to open up. Nobody is a mind reader, your husband or your wife. They are not mind readers. Another killer of intimacy in a home is cold war. It's another killer of intimacy, cold war going on. I call it cold because it's not hot, it's just silent. Secret unforgiveness. Secret unforgiveness, that's the cold war. There's hidden bitterness somewhere. You are not showing it. You are acting up. You're just acting up. You are acting like you're normal. But somewhere, there's this hidden bitterness somewhere. There's this resentment somewhere. There's inner bomb waiting to be triggered. Inner bomb waiting to be triggered. Inside you or within you, there's anger for your spouse. A lot of people keep grudges. They keep grudges within them, unknown to their spouses. They keep anger within them. Their spouses are not even aware. Something happened 10 years ago. Something happened 5 years ago. Something happened months back. And your husband has apologized, and he or she will feel you have forgotten. You've forgiven and you've forgotten, but it's still there. The hurt is still there. Whenever the hurt is there, whenever you flash your mind back on those hurts, it will kill intimacy. It will kill intimacy. So please learn to forgive. I will always say that marriage is a school for two forgivers. Marriage is a school, like offenses must come. Offenses in marriage is a must. And at times it may not be intentional. Yes, at times it may be intentional. At times it may also not be intentional. Nobody will want to just intentionally make you cry. So please, when your spouse apologizes, please learn to forgive. And at times, even if they don't apologize, if you forgive, it is for your own mental health. It is for your own peace of mind. It is for your own sanity. When you practice advanced forgiveness, that's why you need the grace of God. Marriage takes the grace of God. I am telling you, it takes the grace of God to stay married, because you will need Him to help you practice advanced forgiveness, whereby you just tell your partner, do you know what, I've forgiven you. For your peace of mind, for your mental health, for you to be happy, for you to forge ahead, you need to learn. Practice forgiveness is so important. And now I'm speaking to someone right now. I don't know that hurt you have within you, that pain inside of you. Please let it go. Please let it go for your own peace of mind. If you keep holding back those grudges, if you keep holding back those offenses, you will not move forward. You will not move forward. You will not move forward, and you will also not bond effectively with your spouse. Another killer of intimacy in marriage is lack of trust. When you don't trust your partner, you cannot bond. When you don't trust your partner, you cannot be intimate with that partner. Oh yes, you cannot. When you don't trust your partner, when there's no trust, you cannot be intimate with that partner. And there are so many things that can kill or erode trust in a marriage. Number one is infidelity. This one is almost like an epidemic in many homes. Infidelity is almost like an epidemic in many homes. Dishonesty, broken promises, all these can erode trust in your home. Please, if you're indulging in any of these, please put a stop. If you value your marriage, if you treasure your marriage, put a stop to infidelity. It will kill your marriage. It will kill your marriage completely. Dishonesty, whereby you are telling lies. If you're a man, you still tell lies. You cannot expect your wife to bond with you. It's not possible. If you still tell lies, where are you? I'm here. I'm in the office. Whereas you are not in the office. If she finds out that marriage is gradually grinding to a halt, if she finds out you're telling lies, if she finds out, if he finds out any which way, both parties can be prone to telling lies. So please, it will kill your marriage. The next killer of intimacy, lack of understanding about marriage. There's this big me and small you attitude in many homes. This big me and small you attitude in many homes. When you don't see marriage as a union, that's lack of understanding about marriage, lack of understanding of what marriage truly is. Where you have this big me and small you attitude, whereby the man, for example, the man is ruling like an emperor. The man is ruling like a boss, is ruling like a director in the home, and he's seeing his wife as a slave. So the man has this picture of me, the big me, as a man. I'm the head, I'm the boss here, I'm the director. And he's seeing, or in his mind, he's seeing his wife as a small her. And so as a big him, or the boss, or an emperor, he needs to be worshipped. That's his own perception. That's why I called it lack of understanding about marriage. So he's seeing himself as the big him that needs to be worshipped, that needs to be worshipped. And he's seeing his wife as a smaller her that is to be used. Unfortunately, many men still have that mentality of seeing women as slaves. That is so bad. It's so archaic. It's so bad. If you have that mindset, please, you need to work on your mindset. You need to work on your perception. That's the very wrong perception about marriage. It's a very, very wrong perception where you still see women as slaves. You have some customs and some culture that only see women as property of a man and not a personality. That's so bad. If you have that mindset, that's so bad. Some customs, some culture, they only see women as a property, not a personality. It's so bad. That will impede intimacy in your marriage. It will impede intimacy most of the time. The next is distance. Distance can also have its own toll on your marriage, where you are far away from each other. You are a man, you are in state A, and your wife is in state B. It can also have its toll on intimacy in your marriage. It's really challenging. It could really be challenging if you're a man, for example, and you are outside. You're outside. You're abroad. You're outside the country, and you've been there for 5 years, and your wife is back home. At times I imagine I just imagine the kind of marriage. I don't know how that woman is holding on. I don't know how she's holding on. I don't know how she's able to hold on. 5 years you left a woman all by herself and you are outside the country. At times, I don't know, married, distant married, please, I want to advise couple. If you know you are traveling out, please make every necessary arrangement for your wife to join you quickly. It's so important. Living a woman 5 years, it's so challenging. It could be so challenging. Distance can have its toll on intimacy in our marriages. For any reason, please ensure you try to bridge that gap. It's so important in marriage. Otherwise, it could lead to infidelity. You cannot abandon a woman for 5 years and I still expect her to be faithful, it takes the grace of God. Of course it is. It will take the grace of God for a woman who has been abandoned emotionally for 5 years. It could only take the grace of God. It will only take the grace of God for her to still be standing on her feet. So please work on reuniting your family together. Is so important. Another killer of intimacy in marriage is busyness. There are couples that are too busy. They are too busy to spend time together. They prioritize work. They prioritize other activities over quality time together. You put your work first. You put your career first. Work is good. Career is good. But please, there should be a balance. Oh yes, there should be a balance between your work time and the time for family. Please. At times some will even bring the work home and continue from where they stopped in their offices. Please, there should be a balance between work time and family time. It's so important. Another one is technology. This one is a killer in many homes. It just creeps in silently and begins to tear intimacy apart. Technology is good. It has its own advantages, and also it has major disadvantages. And one of them is an attack on intimacy in our homes. The use of computer, the use of laptops, tablets, phones, televisions have destroyed intimacy in many homes. This one is a silent killer. Please, if you know you are guilty of this one, you have to begin to make amends. As we are speaking right now, you have to begin to make amends, because if you are not careful, you become addicted. Become addicted to your phones. If you are not careful, it creeps in gradually. You're watching from one movie A to movie B. There's something to always watch. If you scroll on Facebook, there's always something to watch. One movie, there's always something popping up. If you're not disciplined, if you are not a disciplined person as a man, gradually you begin to get addicted. And before you know, your marriage will be sick. Your marriage will be sick. A woman met me recently also, and she was complaining about her husband. What she said they would be together, but the man is busy. Will put his head down in his phone, will bury his head in his phone and be pressing, can be online for hours. And she is dying of it. She's dying of attention. She's literally begging, screaming for attention. And the man is not aware. That can so impact negatively on your home. It can negatively impact your home. She is ready for emotional connection, ready for physical connection, begging for connection, but the man is carried away. So please, if you're guilty of this, if you're guilty of technology as impacting your home negatively, please, you have to have a rethink. Please have a rethink. Another issue or another killer of intimacy in our homes is the absence of total acceptance. This one is also a major killer. You no longer accept your spouse for who they are. You no longer accept your spouse for who they are, and you begin to say, this person is not the person I married. It's no longer my spec. It's no longer my dream man. For example, your wife was very slim when you got married to her, and after delivery, after so many pregnancies, pregnancy has so impacted on her. She's now fat, and that one will just put you off. That one will just turn you completely off, and you're like, no, this is not what I bargained for. When you no longer accept the person you are married to, it could be a problem. It could kill intimacy in your home. So please, you have to accept the person you are married to. In marriage, you accept both the assets of your spouse and their liabilities. You don't only focus on the good side. No. You accept everything, their baggages, their scars, everything. Please, if it is one you can work on, please work on it. If it's the one you cannot work on, there are some weaknesses you cannot work on, please accept your spouse for who they are and love them regardless. I am begging you, love them regardless of their shortcomings. Love them regardless of their weaknesses. I am begging you. There are some persons who will put it to the faces of their spouse. They will put it ahead of one recently, and that one, in fact, that one, I just could not hold myself. Ahead of one, this one, a man was married, a couple, and they have not given birth. They have not given birth, and so the man went outside. The man went outside to try himself, and I won't want to say fortunately, because that's not God's design. He went outside and impregnated a girl. He went outside and impregnated a girl. As if that was not enough, he will sing it in the house, and the wife is totally, she's almost losing it. The wife is almost losing it. Mentally, the woman is sick. She said, because she met us, she said the man will come home and put it to her face like, yes, you are the one that has the problem. You can imagine that kind of scenario. You are killing that woman. I don't know if you're a man and you have the same character. There's this delay, and this is less than 2 years of marriage. Less than 2 years of marriage, and pregnancy has not set in, and the man went outside. You could not even hold on a bit and trust God and hold hands with your spouse. He has gone, he went outside to try himself, impregnated the girl, and will come home and be singing it, put it on the woman's face, rubbing it on her face. I'm like, you are the one with the problem. I've gone outside to try, and it is positive. Very soon I will bring her into this home. And we bring her, you have no choice. If you cannot stay, you will go out. You can imagine. You can imagine. You don't want to accept the weakness of your spouse, so we put it to their face. There are some whose weaknesses are probably cooking skills. Their weaknesses is probably physical look, their appearance. The man will be put it to their face. See how fat you are. See how fat you are. You are just like an hippopotamus. You are just like an elephant. You are saying all manner of abusive words to your spouse. Even though you don't accept them any longer, must you now describe them with how they look? That could be emotionally draining. There are some people going on, there are some marriages as we speak, that is hurting. There are some marriages that are going through pain. Please don't add to the pain of your spouse. Please don't add to the pain of your spouse. If you cannot help them with their weaknesses, please don't add to their pain. Oh, I'm begging you, don't add to their pain. Please don't add to their pain. Imagine someone who has not given birth, because there's nobody who is barren, someone who is trusting God for children, and here you are as a man telling her to her face, look at your mate, they're all pregnant. What are you doing here? Are you calling yourself a woman? When they're calling women, will you come out? Like that kind of thing, put into their face. It could be so emotionally draining. Please, if you cannot solve their problem, don't add to their pain. Please, I am begging you. Absence of total acceptance. You say they are no longer your spec. That could impact on on intimacy in your home. The other is, another killer of intimacy is absence of living and cleaving. When one partner refuses to leave, one partner just refuses to leave. You have not left your parents, you have not left your friends, you have not left your siblings. I'm not talking about physical living, but living them in your mind. There are some men who have not completely left parents, left father, left mother. Their mother is still the boss. Their mother is still the CEO of their home. Every decision must come from mommy. Every decision must come from daddy. Every decision must come from their friends. That's not a good one. That's not a good one. You have to learn to live. When you have third-party interferences in your home, it could impede intimacy in your home. And after living, you need to cleave. You need to be bonded to your wife. If you allow third party, you cannot bond effectively. And finally, for today, you have financial stress. Money matters. We talked about money last week. If you want to, or if you did not watch that video, please go back to watch our previous video on money and marriage. It could cause a whole lot of conflict when you have divergent views about money, when you have disagreements. There's always conflict about money management, always conflict about spending, how you spend money, who makes the money, who spend the money, who should be in control of the money. It could result to conflict and ultimately affect intimacy in your home. Quickly, let's see how to rekindle intimacy. We've just talked about a whole lot of killers of intimacy. Finally, let's see, how do you rekindle intimacy in your marriage? How do you bring back intimacy? How do you rekindle that fire? How do you rekindle that spark that was once there that has been divided or destroyed by all these killers we mentioned? The first is schedule quality time together. You have to be intentional with quality time as a couple. It's so important. Nothing happens by magic. God won't come down to heal your marriage for you. I want you to know that God will not come down to make your marriage work. Oh no, He won't. Oh no, it will. Marriage simply is personal responsibility. There are some things God will do for you, but for making your marriage work is not God's business at all. No, it's not God's business at all. There are some things He can't do for you. And one of them is building intimacy. It takes personal responsibility for you to rekindle the spark in your home. Number one is to prioritize quality time. Prioritize the time you spend together is so important. Schedule regular date nights, shared activities, meaningful interactions. Have time you sit down and just have conversations. Alone time, alone moment, both of you are just alone. You remove all the distractions. Let go of every form of distraction. At times you need discipline. You just tell yourself, from this time to this time is a no screen time in the house. It is a no screen time, both for phones, both for the TV. It is no screen time. No screen time, no, and no screen time. And you walk on that time. You walk on that time for meaningful connections, meaningful interactions. The next is practice active listening. Yes, active listening. At times your spouse is talking and you're on phone. At times she's talking as a man, your wife is talking to you and you are not paying attention. You are not paying attention. You're not listening. You're just the eye straight. Are you listening? Yes. Are you? Yes. You are not listening. You are not listening. You're not paying real attention. It could be a serious problem. So practice active listening. Engage in empathetic and active communication. Attentive communication. Attentive communication. Please, when your spouse is talking, pay attention. Pay attention. Understand what is being said. Understand what is being said. The third is foster emotional intelligence. Foster emotional intelligence. You need to recognize, you need to understand and learn how to manage your emotions. Recognize and learn how to manage your emotions. In rekindling intimacy, manage your emotions properly. Know how to manage anger. Know how to manage sadness. Know how to manage your emotions so that you don't spoil the joy that is in the home. The next is rebuild trust. Rebuild trust. This could be a bit difficult, but it is achievable. Rebuilding trust is possible. Rebuilding trust from dishonesty, rebuilding trust from infidelity, it is achievable. All it needs is intentionality. You need to really be intentional in rebuilding trust. You need to be honest. You need to be remorseful. You need to be honest, like you make up your mind, I want to work on my marriage. That's healing from infidelity. It's not easy. It's not easy to trust you again after you have abused trust. When trust is broken, to rekindle that trust back is not a walk in the park. It's really not going to be easy, but you have to be intentional. I said it's not going to be easy, but it is achievable. It is possible. So you work on forgiveness. In rebuilding trust, you work on forgiveness. You work on honesty and transparency. If you want me to believe you, then you have to be transparent. Let your yes be a yes and let your no be a no. Then we will definitely be on the same page. And finally, prioritize physical intimacy. Yes, you have to make it a priority. Make sex a priority in your home. If you don't plan for sex, it may never happen. Yes, it may never happen, because at times the day-to-day activity can be so demanding. You are always busy. There's always something to do. If you're a woman, there's always something to do. If you're not washing, you're cooking. If you're not cooking, you're scrubbing. You're not scrubbing, you're attending to children. There's homework. There's always something to do. And you have to be intentional with your sex life. Yes, you have to be intentional. I will make you another video on sex. You really have to be intentional. If you don't plan it, if you don't plan for sex, it may never happen. Because at times at the end of the day, you are tired. You are worn out. You are completely worn out. So you need to be intentional. You need to plan for it. Otherwise, it may never happen. Yes, it may never happen. So plan for it. Engage regular physical intimacy, physical affection, holding of hands. Holding of hands. Look out for things that will make you connect with your spouse physically. Always learn to do things in common. Always learn to do things in common. Learn to do things in common. And finally, commit your marriage to God. Commit your marriage to God. Like I will always say, God is that foundation. Yes, I will always say God is that foundation for a successful marriage. Ecclesiastes put it this way. Ecclesiastes verse 4, I'm sure verse 8 or thereabouts. It said, a threefold cord that is not easily broken. A threefold cord that is not easily broken. And God is that third cord. You have the husband, you have the wife, and you have God right at the center of that marriage. That makes it impossible for that marriage to break. It makes you, it reinforces your marriage. The presence of God in your home reinforces that foundation, makes it stronger. Always commit your marriage to God, because there are some demonic influences. Some demonic influences, some conflict, like I will always say, they always have the spiritual undertone. They will always have spiritual undertone. I've talked about a woman who they are trusting God for children. This couple, they are trusting God for children. And for the woman, whenever she's seeing her ovulation after her period, when it is time for ovulation, that's the time they will have conflict. Yes, we've seen couples like that. We've addressed it. The only way to address that kind of conflict is by deliverance, by sending that devil or those devils back to where they are coming from. Yes, whenever she's on ovulation, it is that time they will have conflict. Heated conflict that will make sexual intimacy impossible. That devil is a madman. And there's no way there will be pregnancy without sexual intimacy. Of course not. Whenever it is time, she's ripe for her to take it, that is the time they will have conflict. Heated conflict. So I want you to always commit your marriage to God, because there are some conflicts, there are some misunderstanding, there are some issues, there are some anger that are not ordinary. At times people don't believe in the devil, but the devil is real. And he has three men and changed, and that's to steal, kill, and to destroy. So you have to be intentional. Involve God in your marriage. Bring him in. Bring him in. Bring him in. You have nothing to lose when you involve God in your home. Of course, you have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. All you have to, rather you stand the chance to gain every of God's good blessing. God, whenever he is in your home, it comes with peace. It comes with security, it comes with protection, it comes with blessing, favor, to mention but a few. So you need to involve God in your home. He will preserve your home, he will protect your home. Whenever you involve him, you stand the chance to have a successful home. So I don't know how your home is right now, as you're in the intimacy in your home completely dwindling. Please sit down, be intentional. Sit down, go through all the points again on how to rebuild intimacy and involve God. And I see your marriage bouncing back again. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your time today. See you again next week Wednesday with another. I'll be here again with another interesting topic. 10 a.m. is the time. And before I call it a day, I want you to know that we will soon be coming up with another program that's mentoring for singles. That's solely a program for singles. So I want to announce it. Just be on the lookout. If you're watching from my page, Pastor Maryann Godfrey, please ensure you follow that page. Just click on the follow button as we speak. Click on the follow button. So whenever we come up with that program, mentoring for singles, you will not be left out. And I want you to know that it will really be a blessing to you. I'm telling you, it will really be a blessing to you. Because for those of us who are already married and there's an issue, what we need to do is to work on the marriage. But for you who are still single, you have all the time in the world to make it right. You have all the time to choose correctly. It's so important. So I'll make you know when the program will be coming up. It will be so impactful. Mentoring sections for single. Don't miss it. So follow the page. I will always let you know. God bless you. Thank you so much for your time. You are blessed.